He had his gun, so he just swung it open.
I start to notice that, the atmosphere feels a little bit weird.
First thing he seen was this 6.5 foot tall, broad shoulder, dark hair. That freaked him out.
We hadn't talked to her about like life and death and what any of that means. She's 3 years old,
So we turned around. Suddenly there's a whole tree falling across the road.
And she was describing to us that, there was a deceased person that she could see visually.
You're listening to Cryptid Clues, where we tackle the ever-expanding history and mystery of monsters and supernatural madness every Monday and Friday. You can find us at CryptidClues.ca for more information, or even check out exclusive content such as interviews and D&D campaigns at patreon.com/CryptidClues.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm your host and this episode's DM, Reuben Olson. I've got our usual other half with me this episode, who gets to introduce himself shortly. But first, a couple of quick things to note. This is the first episode of our new series for the show, where I concoct a wonderful adventure to string our players along using everybody's favorite tabletop RPG and Theater of the Mind toolkit, Dungeons & Dragons, specifically 5th edition to make it easy for our little campers to survive this campaign. For anyone not familiar with D&D, it's a set of rules that allows adults to play pretend with consequences, leaving fate up to the roll of many-sided dice and charismatic wordage. While D&D is typically set in a fantasy realm a la Lord of the Rings, for our show it's taking place right here on planet Earth, except there's a much stronger chance that cryptids are lurking in the dark and sinister things are afoot in the woods. So without further ado, welcome all to the Cryptid Clues campaign, Haunt of the Grassman. Today we're starting off with Player 1. Go ahead and introduce yourself and who you'll be playing today so we can get this D20 rolling.
I am Taylor Field. You might remember me from other episodes of Cryptid Clues as a co-host alongside Reuben, your DM for this episode. But yes, I am going to be going on this adventure as none other than Bryce Carter.
And tell me a little bit about Bryce Carter, Taylor. How do you imagine him?
Well, I imagine him to be, not to be corny or cheesy, a little bit of like a reflection of myself to a degree, a little oblivious at times, fairly gullible, but honest, kind, compassionate, cautious, can be independent, feels, being fair, being charitable to individuals as well. But, I do have allergies at times of the year in this, at least where we live here. And that's something I wanted to reflect as well. If, my character happens to be out in the woodland area camping, maybe there'll be an odd sneeze here and there, but we'll see how things play out.
I guess we'll find out. I mean, we're recording this while I'm a little bit sick as well, so if there's a couple of sneezes from me, we'll just say that it's your characters and his allergies then. So let's get started. Here's our campaign hook for Haunt of the Grassman, Taylor. In the month of August, you decided to take your little one camping for 3 days. Your daughter, Meredith, is 10 years old. Your wife warned you not to take her too far into the woods, to be safe, to pick a public camping ground. But you were confident that you knew a better spot. Perfectly safe, an old off-road trail north through the mountain pass of your hometown. This path would bring you to a hidden lake surrounded by trees and old logging roads. This is where your father used to take you fishing. You remember these days vividly. Every summer you'd sit in the boat with your dad and try to catch something for dinner. Sometimes he caught a fish, but you never did. It was around the time you became a teenager that Dad stopped taking you fishing every summer. He refused to head to that lake anymore and moved away from your hometown to the neighboring city. He ventured out with you on a couple of hunting trips, taught you how to use a gun, but never went back there. After he passed, you remained curious as to why he never took you back. Now you're venturing back to the lake to go camping with Meredith, partially to spend time with her, but also to see that lake again where you made so many memories with your dad. You expect it to be a fun camping trip, maybe a little boring for poor Meredith. You've packed up your camping gear and are nearing the end of your drive to the town of Willow Pond, a small western town with very few shops and plenty of farmland. Meredith is in the back seat of your blue Jeep Wrangler, playing her Switch to keep her occupied. She's quiet as usual, but you're sure this trip will help her open up with you since you haven't exactly been the most amazing parent as of late. You've been working long hours at your job and pretty much come home just to sleep. Fortunately, you were able to book off a week-long vacation in the middle of Meredith's summer break. Your camping gear is as follows. You have 2 tents, portable stove, a cooler with 6 sandwiches, big jug of water, and a lighter. You have lots of miscellaneous gear that would be reasonably acceptable to have on a camping trip, all packed up in your blue Jeep Wrangler. You're on the road. Meredith's in the back playing her Switch. The road's getting a little bit bumpy as we head towards the town of Willow Pond.
Well, I'm wondering what the signs are saying. Any distance signs, like how far, how many miles away the town is?
Oh, you're almost there. It was about 10 kilometers ago when you read a sign that said 10 kilometers to Willow Pond.
Mm-hmm. Then if it's starting to get late, I'm probably thinking of maybe where to get food. Probably have to feed Meredith as well.
Dad, I don't want to stop anywhere. I just want to get there and get this over with. Jeez.
Well, does she want to get just to the town or get to where we're trying to stay? Because get to where we have to stay in one night, that's still probably a ways away, isn't it?
Oh, you're almost there. As you pull into Willow Pond, you pass a few orchards and farms. Eventually, you see the little stone-walled pond that gives this place its name, and the few small facilities that surround it before you leave town and go past the last couple of houses. There's a sheriff's office on the west side of the pond, and a gas station on the northeastern end. Could be a good idea to fill up your tank a bit and maybe grab a bite to eat at the station.
How full is my tank right now?
You've got about a quarter tank.
A quarter. Then that's probably the safer bet.
You definitely remember that the hidden lake you're going to, it's gonna take at least a half a tank just to get there.
Yeah. Then I say we pull over. I'm gonna remember where like that sheriff station is. That's good to take note, but we'll drive over to that gas station and fill up that tank.
You see it roll into view. Clearly not many folks visit this place, as there's only one gas nozzle to use here, and one parking spot in front of the red and white building. The parking spot's already taken up by the owner's truck. You'll have to go inside if you want to pay for gas and unlock the nozzle.
Yeah, I'll pull up so I could afterwards fill up.
Meredith looks up from her Switch and shows a little bit of emotion. Finally, can I get a snack?
I can probably look for some food in the gas station. I imagine there's some snacks or chips in there.
Well, duh, Dad. Come on, let's hurry up and get in there. What's this place called anyways? Is there a sign up there?
What is this place called? Yeah.
You look up and you see a sign, Skookum Chuckers Guzzle and Gulp.
This is perfect. Okay. Yeah, I'll park the car and then I think I'm going to go inside.
A soft chime rings as you walk through the doors. You see a rough old man at the counter. Taylor, give me a history check to see if you know anything about this guy. You're going to roll your d20, and you're going to add any bonuses from your history knowledge to it. You'll have a little plus next to it on your character sheet.
I see. Okay.
Ooh, first dice roll of the game.
I rolled a solid 1.
Oh, no. Oh, you have no idea who this guy is. Ooh. There's a good chance you, at one point as a child, knew everybody in this town, but you clearly don't know who this is. And you're old enough now. Probably nobody from town really remembers you, at least by your looks, either.
I'd like to just kind of ask for his name, though, or at least, like, actually, I'm going to greet. Like, hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Not too bad. I used to come here a lot. I'll tell him a little bit that I used to visit here camping when I was little.
When you were little, eh? You're from here, then. What's your name?
Bryce Carter.
What? And you don't recognize old Griff Guzzlechuck, do ya?
No, I don't.
It's been a long time. Well, I ain't one for small talk, though. Don't just hang around. You gonna buy something? Looks like your little girl's got some snacks already. Meredith runs up to you and she's holding a couple of chocolate bars, a couple bags of chips. She's got a Slurpee already filled all the way up to the brim.
Yeah, we'll take the lot, and I'll top up the gas tank as well.
How much gas do you want in that there? What you got out there?
I got
Kind of a blue something or other.
a blue Jeep. I want to put like we'll do like $100 worth of Supreme.
How much money do you have?
Oh, yeah. Is that GP?
Yeah, it's $150. We're not using the D&D money system.
Okay, I'll do $100 worth of gas.
Well, you got $50 of snacks right here. This is a convenience station.
All right, let's do...
I mean, I'm fine with that. $150. You're good to go. You're going to pay or what? Debit doesn't really tap out here. You'll have to put the chip in.
Yeah, let's do it. $150.
Gee, Dad, you're so rich. Thanks for buying these snacks.
We can't use money in the bush.
Wow, like 1 second into the game and you're already broke. You spent all your money. Are there any questions you want to ask this guy before you leave the station?
Can I get a receipt?
He hits a couple buttons and he reprints a receipt that he already crumpled up and threw in the garbage. Just like your father.
I'll ask him for directions too.
I mean, of all the places, I thought you'd remember that lake that your dad used to take you fishing to. You just gotta go straight past the station and you keep on driving. There's really nowhere else you can go, but be careful. Folks who venture past here up to that stupid lake tend not to come back now, apparently. It's gotten a little rough since the olden days, so try not to get lost. The cops around here are really getting used to people going missing.
I'll ask him one more question. Does he know why my dad stopped coming up here?
He hesitates just a little bit at that. He used to go on a couple fishing trips together with your pa there, but I think we kind of stopped going around the same time that he stopped taking you.
So you went fishing with my dad?
I sure did.
And you've stopped going up since? You never went up there alone?
I only went up there because he asked me to. I got all my fishing gear for sale on the back wall there.
Did you ever see, like, wildlife? Anything I should be worried about, like a bear?
Oh, there's lots of black bears up there. Tons of them. Lots of deer, too.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have.
All right, so you're going to go back out to the Jeep then. You look down and Meredith's gone. She's already back in the Jeep, waiting for you, playing her Switch again.
Okay. I'm going to start filling up. I'll unlock the padlock and start filling up the tank.
Well, you get to a certain point and the gas tank stops filling up and the gas starts coming out.
I'm going to let go of that handle immediately.
Yeah, you look over at the dial and you've spent about $80 worth of fuel. You bought $100 worth of gas. Dad, hurry up. I want to go.
I'm limited on some of my items. I wish I had something I could fill up that extra gasoline with. I might just have to take the loss on this.
You could go back in and ask for a refund.
Oh, I would like to go back in and ask for the $20 difference back.
So you head back in, the chime rings again. Griff's there at the counter and goes, did you forget something?
I managed to fill up my tank with about $80 worth of gas. I wonder if I could get that $20 back difference.
Well, all right, since I know you, I guess I can do that. I'll need that receipt real quick here and make it easy for myself. You fish around in your pocket and you grab the receipt and hand it back to him. Types on his little machine there and all right, put your debit card back in and you get $20 back.
Okay. With that, I would actually like to just kind of like walk around the store and actually take a proper look. Since he mentioned he has his fishing gear on for sale, I want to see what else he has.
It's pretty typical gas station stuff all over. On the far wall, however, there is a whole rack of different fishing rods and stuff and a pretty battered old looking rod that was probably his, tackle boxes and whatnot.
Is there any like animal deterrents, bear spray, anything like that?
No, nothing of the sort. Just some fishing gear on the wall.
Just some fishing gear.
A couple of fishing trophies too.
How much does one of these fishing rods go for?
Well, if you're looking at one of the nice looking rods, it's about 120 bucks. But as you go down, you see there's a couple of beat up old rods, including the one that, again, is most likely Griff's rod. He's got it on sale for 10 bucks.
Well, you know what? It's my lucky day because I'm going to buy that for $10. And actually, how much is some of the bait if there's any in there?
Tackle boxes come in a little kit and they're $5.
$5. Well, I'll take a tackle box and I'll take that rod for $15.
I'll make it easy for you. Here, son. He gives you the tackle box for free and rings you through for the rod. I'm just glad to be rid of that old thing. It's a good rod, won't do you no harm, but it's starting to look a little worse for wear.
All right. Well, I'm going to say my farewell and go meet my daughter in the Jeep now.
Yeah, you head outside on Meredith. It's like has her head thrown back dramatically. Oh my God, Dad, can we go? Get this camping trip over with. She's already opened up a bag of chips and she's just plowing into it.
I'm going to get into the driver's side and we're going to continue on our way following the directions.
Yeah, you turn on your Jeep and that gas tank fills up all the way. It's very satisfying. You head back down to the road and you leave the little town. Willow Pond disappears into the distance behind you. And slowly but surely you start to see all the pine trees and shrubbery come into view. There's a lot of thicket around here, and at certain points on the road it kind of closes in, almost like a tunnel almost to trees as you go through dark parts back into light parts. It is starting to get closer to sunset here as you're driving around. It takes about 2 hours to drive along the bumpy off-road stretches to reach the logging trails, and eventually you find some fallen logs that don't quite block the Jeep from getting through. So after more than enough bumps to make Meredith feel sick, the end of the trail is in sight. 2 gigantic gray boulders, seemingly out of place, block any further progress by car. You can park here and just barely make out some shimmer through the pines to the east. The lake is downhill through the trees, you're sure of it. Be a bit of a trailblaze to shove aside the bushes and step through the thickets, but you remember some kind of clearing below where setting up camp would be just perfect.
What time of day is it right now?
The sun is setting now, so you see a little bit of orange shimmer come through the trees as it reflects off the lake.
What is the area like where we stopped? Is it just road?
So it's like really hard to make out road, but there's 2 big gray boulders blocking any further progress, and you thought the road went further than it did in the past. Both sides of you is just pine trees, thick and through, but looking out eastward, you can see that shimmer of the lake, so you know you're there.
Maybe I'll go and inspect these boulders. I'm just curious if they're pushable or how big they really are in person.
All right. At this point, Meredith puts her switch in her bag and she gets out of the Jeep as well. You hear the click of the door behind her. Dad, where are we? Are we there yet?
Well, we're probably, before we go out into the woods, I just want to see if there's any way to move these boulders.
They're bigger than you are. They are about twice as big. You're welcome to try if you really want to move them.
No, I'm not going to try if I have to save my strength for a little bit of a hike.
I don't think there's anything out here that can move those rocks, Dad. Maybe like a Bigfoot or something, but we all know they're not real.
Well, we'll probably, since this clearing is nearby and it'll be a perfect spot to camp, we'll probably just make our way there because it should be no time at all.
Okay, well, are we going to go then?
Yeah, so we'll have to grab everything.
So you're going to pop open the back of the Jeep there and pull out all your camping gear. And as far as those boulders go and you look back at them, it feels like going beyond them is just impossible. The pines and the thickets are just too intense, like the whole forest comes to a close. The only way forward to the lake from here seems to be beaten through the bush down to the lake.
Do I have a hand axe handy?
You do, actually. So you pull it out the back of the Jeep and you strap it to your belt. Meredith's just standing there with her backpack. So if you want help carrying anything, it might be a good opportunity to give something to your daughter to do.
Yes, if she could actually hold on to a flashlight, just for now, just in case.
How are you going to make her? Because she's kind of fussy. Dad, I don't really want to carry anything. Come on, this has been such a long trip.
I would like to kind of persuade her that it's just to be safe and to be helpful.
All right, roll me persuasion. With advantage, because she's your daughter, so that means you get to roll twice and take the highest of the rolls.
And
Glad you didn't say intimidation.
Okay, that was a 6. That was an 8. So 8 plus 1.
Ooh. 8 plus 1, that's a 9. So that was your highest roll, really?
Yes.
Meredith just says, Dad, I'm not carrying anything. Okay, we'll make a couple of trips.
Okay. Then okay. We'll take what we have and we'll see what we can find. Hopefully when we head down to the lake, there'll be some clearing that I remember.
Yeah, well, there's 2 tents in the back and big, like, little rolled up sacks. And there's also, I got to scroll back up here to see what you had. There's a portable stove, your cooler, 6 sandwiches with inside the cooler, jug of water, and your lighter. So you can shove the lighter in your pocket. You can sling a tent over your shoulder. You're going to have to come back for the other tent and the stove. Maybe you can carry the cooler at the same time. Why don't you do me another roll? Roll me a strength check here to see if you can carry more things than just the tent here.
We hit 7 plus 4.
Okay. Yeah, so you can sling the tent over your shoulder. You've got the lighter in your pocket. You've got the hand axe in your right hand. And in your left hand, you can comfortably tuck the portable stove under your arm. So now you just got to come back for the tent and the cooler.
I almost want to leave the cooler and the tent, keep the cooler safe in the vehicle so that no animals will get to it, and then we'll just share a tent.
Ew, Dad, no, I want my own tent.
Okay, then the faster we get down to the spot, the better. So we'll take that, and I guess we'll start heading out to where I believe is the area we need to go to.
Yeah, so you head down towards that shimmer there, and you get to that close wood wall, and you're gonna have to try and, like, push some leaves and sticks and stuff out of the way. There's tree branches that are hanging down. You're constantly ducking. Give me a quick survival check. You have to beat a 10.
I haven't gone over a 10 this whole time so far.
Yeah, your new dice are betraying you already.
My survival is plus 5.
Oh, there you go. So as you're stepping, you stop and you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You realize that there's some poison ivy in the way that you and Meredith are about to walk through.
Can I hack away at it with my axe?
Yeah, you can. You can hack away at it.
That's definitely what I will do, just so that we don't make the mistake of hitting it again.
All right. Give me another roll here. Roll me dexterity to avoid touching it while you're hacking away at it.
Dexterity. Rolled a 9, and that's plus 3.
Okay. Yeah, so you hack away at it. Get it out of the way, kind of kick it aside. Meredith's like, oh, wow, Daddy, you really know your plants, nerd.
Okay. Then after that's eliminated, like, how dark is it getting now?
It's still sunset. Not a whole lot of time has passed.
Okay.
So the hidden lake comes into view after some trailblazing, and you see the softness of the wind slowly rippling the water's surface. It's dusk as you approach, so the end of the sunset somehow manages to reflect orange light off the water. It looks serene and peaceful. This lake here is roughly 10 kilometers large, so it's a pretty big lake. There's a clearing of grass with the occasional thicket here and there, as it leads back towards the wood line behind you. Ahead, there's a shoreline of dirt and rock. An old dock almost touches the surface of the lake.
This looks like a pretty good area then. I mean, we got access to a dock, the beach. Mm-hmm. I'll see where Meredith feels like she wants us to set up the tents.
You want Meredith to find out? All right. All right, Meredith. She's going to roll survival right now. Oh, it's a 4 dice. You're lucky. I have to re-roll that one. It was super low. Yeah, she does a pretty average job of spotting a place. Finds a nice little clearing, and she goes, I guess this will do. We still have to go grab the other tent, but I don't want to go back up there. Can you just go, Dad? And she pulls out her Switch again and starts playing it.
It's too dangerous for a young person to be out here alone while I go and get supplies, so I think you should definitely come with me.
If there's any trouble, Dad, I'll shout. It wasn't that far away.
By the time you shout, I wouldn't be able to get back in time. That would be...
Oh my... I could set up the tent. I'll set up the tent for you.
Well, that is tempting. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I insist, though, that you come with me.
Why is there, like, bears or something? Okay, fine. And she's, like, violently turns off her Switch and shoves it into her backpack again. Let's go. And she just drops the one tent that you had brought down here in the spot that you're going to come back to set it up. So you go back up to the Jeep. It's no problem for you to get back through the trail you hacked off, and you go to the back. You grab the other tent. Do you want to grab the cooler, or are you going to leave it up in that tent or in the Jeep there?
There wasn't really any trees to put it up in. And I don't believe I had rope either.
Oh, there's some trees down there at the
Okay.
campground. Mostly pine trees, but you can definitely find one with like a solid
Okay.
branch you could hook
If
something
that's
to.
the case, then yeah, I
That
might
won't
as
be
well
a
just bring
problem.
it.
Okay, so you bring the other tent and the cooler back down to the lake, and when you get back down there, you see that tent roll is sitting on the ground. You can go ahead and set it up. Meredith sets up her own tent, and while you're working on it, of course, it starts to get a little bit darker. The sunset goes behind what you can see from the tree line. It's now dusk. There's a moon in the sky, some moonlight shining through. Let's see how Meredith does with her tent setup here. Ooh, perfect. Absolute flawless job setting up her tent. She's a fair ways away from you, though. So for setting up your tent, Taylor, roll me a d20 and tell me what you get.
I got a 19.
You got a 19. Awesome. So you set up the tent, and you rolled so high on that, you actually find that inside the tent, there's an old fishing lure stuck inside. I want you to go ahead and mark this one down. This fishing lure is a small green lure that's actually from when you and Dad went fishing. It'll give you advantage on your fishing rolls if you use this lure, but every time you cast it, because it's old, you're going to have to roll a d20 and beat the lowest number possible every time. So you start out with a 1, then you have to beat a 2, then you have to beat a 3 before it eventually unknots and you lose it in the water.
Okay. We'll keep that handy then, that's for dang sure. But I'm probably not going to do any fishing tonight as it's late and I don't want to go out into the water just yet. So how far away is Meredith's tent from mine?
She's about 20 feet away.
20 feet away. Okay. Then I reckon we best get a fire going if it's starting to get dark and a little colder out.
So you can see that there's some old, like, little circular rings of stone and stuff where campfires used to be, but it's so old that no one's come out to camp out here since then.
Okay. Might as well go back up to that tree line area where I was hacking away a little bit and just grab some firewood. Not in, like, going too far, but grab some wood that I hacked. See if I can bring it back with my lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get some sticks and stuff like that, bring it back down to the little stone circle, and use your lighter to light a fire. For your lighter, same rule as the fishing lure. Roll me a d20. You gotta beat a 1, otherwise the lighter only lasts for 1 use.
7.
7, so you're good. So next time when you use your lighter, you gotta beat a 2. So you can use that. You light a little campfire there, nice and warm. Meredith sitting up against the fire with a little blankie. She's got her tent set up. She's got her sleeping bag back in the tent. She's still playing her Switch.
I'm going to take a look inside the cooler and see what we have for food.
You've got 6 sandwiches, and you've got a jug of water.
Okay.
You also have the snacks that you bought as well. So there's a few chocolate bars and a couple bags of chips. And that Slurpee's long gone. She drank that in the trip here.
Okay. I'll see if Meredith wants a sandwich or if she's full.
She just reaches out and grabs it, like super quick.
Okay. I'll probably indulge in one too because I haven't eaten it yet today.
Okay, eat your food. All's fine and dandy. The dusk has passed. The moon is high in the sky. It is now starting to get pretty dark. You do have a cell phone on you, by the way. You don't have really much way to charge it. It's at about half charge, and you can look at the clock if you want at any point and see if you have reception or not.
By chance, do I have reception right now?
No, you have no bars right now.
I'm going to turn the phone off to conserve battery.
Noted. So you've turned the phone off completely.
How much battery does the Switch still have?
Meredith smirks a little bit as she looks up and she's like, I got 90%.
Okay, good to know.
She's been playing that thing a lot. There's no way it should have 90%.
Can I persuade her to tell me the truth?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a 1.
She just continues smirking. She's like, I don't know, Dad. It's this new technology. It lasts for a long time.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to think what else we could do. Probably should put the cooler somewhere safe.
Yeah.
There's some pine trees that are nearby with a low-lying branch that's kind of out of bear's reach. So I'll probably go and do that right now.
Yeah, so it's about another 20 feet away to a pine tree, and you can go hang up the cooler there. Give me a perception check.
I got 4 plus 3, 7.
Okay, so you hang up the cooler. Nothing really stands out to you. about the spot. It's about that time. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and turn in for the night, or you can stay up, talk to Meredith. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I'll head back to Meredith. But before kind of talking with her, I do just want to is there a way to take note of any other campers? Like you said earlier, that this campsite was definitely not used, but is there any evidence of people that have like hiked around here recently?
It's too dark to tell. You'd have to light up the area if you want to look again.
Probably wait till the next day.
You do have a flashlight in your inventory, I believe.
Oh, that is true. Then definitely, let's pull that out and let's actually, like, I don't want to wander too far, but I want to just kind of like just shine it around and just look.
Okay, same rules of the lighter. So when you turn on your flashlight, you got to roll a d20 and you got to beat a 1 for the first time you use it.
19.
Nice. So that flashlight on my end here is not going to lose any battery at all with a 19. Next time you roll, you got to beat just a 1. Doesn't count if you roll above a 19, we'll say.
Okay.
So now with that, you can roll me perception once more with advantage.
Advantage is the higher number of 2 rolls?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember to add your perception to the roll as well.
That was a 20 plus the 3.
Oh, you rolled a nat 20?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So off to the west a ways, kind of past where you hung the cooler, there's a particular set of thicket there. A couple of pine trees, a couple of bushes, and you see the tip of something kind of yellowish out of place sticking up above it.
Is it possible to tell if this is an inanimate object?
Oh yeah, this is definitely, it looks like a fabric or something.
I'd like to go check it out.
Okay, be safe, Dad. And you just kind of look behind you as you see the fire. Not roaring or anything like that. It's not a bonfire, but you can see it crackling. You can see Meredith sitting there with the glow of the switch hitting her face.
Mm-hmm.
So you head over to that spot and you see a very old rickety tent with more than a few tears in it. It's wide open, its flap occasionally rippling with the passing air.
Are there any, like, what kind of supplies? Is there like a lot of stuff left behind? Like, did people ditch?
You can tell that it looks like it's been a really long time since it was used. There's not really any supplies or anything like that. There's no dirt around it, no sign of, again, that stone ring where the fire wasn't used for a long time. But there is a sleeping bag inside the tent.
I would like to look inside the tent and seeing the sleeping bag. Is there there's no body, hopefully.
No, it actually has something kind of hard and rectangular in it.
I'd like to take a look at that.
So you pull out an old water-damaged journal with a lock on it.
Okay. Is there can I look around to see if there's a key somewhere on the floor of the tent?
Yeah, feel free to take a search there. Why don't you roll me investigation? And are you still using your flashlight here?
Yes.
Okay, so investigation with advantage if you're using your flashlight here in the middle of the night.
Okay, that was a 6, and then plus 3 with investigation.
He's got to beat a 10.
16 plus 3. Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Well, let's see what you find here. All right, so as you're searching around the dirt, you're looking for a key or something in your mind, but you actually hit something with your toe that's kind of half buried inside the tent. You notice the floor of the tent has kind of rotted away. It's just dirt sticking up through here and some grass. But there's almost like a little cube that you bump into, and you pull out what looks like a toolbox. This is a tinker's toolbox, so it's got a bunch of like supplies and tools and stuff in it that you would use to mess around with things. It has a screwdriver and whatnot in it.
I'm definitely going to take this with me.
But there is absolutely zero sign of a key.
Can I use this screwdriver to maybe pick away the keyhole?
Yeah, if you want to, you can give it a shot. Are you trying to like pick the lock, or are you trying to like break the lock open?
I'll try picking the lock first.
All right, so you try to pick the lock with the screwdriver, but the keyhole, it's like a really tiny little iron lock. That screwdriver you have is a flathead screwdriver, and it's just a little bit too big to get in there.
Okay, then I think I will now try to use it to actually like shimmy the lock open, if that's possible in the book.
So you're trying to use force?
Yes.
Okay, so you got to roll me strength.
2 plus 4.
No. You try to bend it. The screwdriver almost bends a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take the book and I'm going to take the little toolkit with me back to camp.
Dad, what did you find?
We found this toolkit and we found this book. Do you have any experience opening locks or anything? Do you want to take a look at this?
Oh, hell yeah, I do. Give that to me. She kind of plays around with it. She pulls something out of her backpack. Nah, this lock's stupid. She hands it back to you.
Looking at the book, is there anything kind of revealing on the covers at all, or is it just completely blank and locked?
It looks like it's really water damaged, like one big coffee stain. The pages are mostly stuck together. You feel like if you play with it much, you might end up ruining it. So you've kind of put it through all of its trials here.
I'm going to put it inside my tent. Can I take more of a thorough look inside this toolkit? What specific tools are in there?
So you'll probably want to put this in your tent or keep it somewhere safe because it's a lot of stuff to carry around in your person, but you could take things out of it if you want. A set of Tinker's tools is designed to enable you to repair many mundane objects. Though you can't manufacture much with Tinker's tools, you can mend torn clothes, sharpen a worn sword, and patch a tattered suit of armor, or make something small using pre-made materials. So there's a variety of hand tools, saws, screwdrivers, wrenches, a small oil dropper, rubber tubing, and some other strange gadgets.
Would I be able to use it to make a little pick?
You'd have to have something small and pick-like first, and you're already halfway there with that, so there's nothing in the kit.
Gotcha. I'll definitely leave all that in the tent with my book for now that I found. And I'll probably just sit and talk to Meredith and tell her that the tent I found not to go over there.
Okay, that's just going to tempt me to go over there, right?
I'm going to try and persuade her not to, just because it could be dangerous and it could be a bear over there.
So you can either roll me persuasion, or you can give me a scary story about a bear.
This is going to be a scary story.
Is this like one of your stories when you were fishing with Grandpa?
Yes. There was a time where this woman was sleeping in her tent, and her husband went out because he thought he could hear a bear. He went out there looking and looking, trying to see if there's any commotion.
Did he see the bear?
He didn't see a bear, but then he thought it would be funny to pretend to be a bear.
What? That's so dumb.
To scare his wife in the tent. So he started to make all these growling noises in the bush.
Awful husband.
He started to roar louder and louder and start to creep towards his wife's tent, and she went and grabbed a gun.
What?
And she pulled the gun and
These people
pointed
are crazy.
outside the tent.
No, this didn't happen, Dad. You're lying.
He was growling so much that she thought that it was a real bear. And she went to go and shoot. But thankfully, he was like, no, it's just me. But the bear was right behind him. So he was very lucky that his wife had the gun in her hands, because he was able to move out of the way, and she shot the bear before it actually grabbed him.
Oh my God. Is that the tent where it happened?
It very well could be. It looked like there was some scratches on the tent. Could have been a bear that did that. Who knows?
Yeah, you're lucky she's 10. She's not going to think about how the cops didn't come and clean up any evidence like that. All right, that works for me. She's not going to go investigate the tent.
Okay, good.
But she's still playing away on her Switch. It just goes back in her tent.
Okay. Well, if she's staying in her tent and it's pretty much done for the night, I'll sit by the fire just a little bit longer and just kind of I'm not shining my flashlight around anymore. That's turned off, but just kind of take in the moment and just reflect. And I'm curious, are there crickets going off? Can I hear any does it sound like a nice wildlife evening?
Yeah, you hear some crickets chirping and some wind flowing through the trees. Sound of the shoreline whoosh, washing up onto the beach.
Then I'm probably going to turn in then as well. I can't think of there being anything else.
Just as soon as you turn in, you look over and you see the light of the switch shining through her tent. Kind of out your little mesh window there in the tent. You see the light just go off. She goes, darn it.
I'm going to ask out, did your switch die on you from 90%?
No. And she's rifling through her backpack. You can hear her reaching around. It's not here. Damn it, where did I leave it?
What are you looking for?
I forgot something in the Jeep.
Well, maybe we can go get it tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? What?
It's too dark to go right now. So, well, it should be safe in the Jeep. And it's late anyways, so we can go to sleep.
Okay, whatever you say, Dad, fine. Ugh, I can't believe you dragged me on this stupid camping trip. Throughout the night, the sound of owls hooting troubles your sleep. You dream of being in your childhood bed, and in your dream, you see an owl staring at you through the window. Suddenly, the bright light of morning comes through. The sound of sticks snapping wakes you up. Then the sound of waves seems to soften as the light of morning shines against the walls of your tent.
I'm going to make sure I'm well-dressed, or not well-dressed, but make sure I got clothes on. And then I'm going to go outside the tent.
Did you get changed to go into your sleeping bag?
Well, put the pajamas on.
Okay.
Get out of the work clothes. I'm going to go outside, though, and I'm curious, what is making the stepping noises? Are the stick snap noises?
Well, as you exit the tent, you notice something's kind of off. It's a little quiet. Suddenly the sounds stop. There's no birds chirping. Nothing.
Is there, it's very, very sunny, right? There's no, like, storm clouds or anything like that?
Yep. Typical morning, it's just very silent.
Can I kind of do, like, I think I would like to kind of, like, just do, like, a peripheral look to the area just to kind of inspect.
Okay. You notice one thing right away, and that's that Meredith's tent is unzipped, and her sleeping bag is flung wide open as well.
We're going to race over to the tent, and we're just going to take a look. Is there her bag missing?
Yeah, her backpack's not in there.
I'm going to grab my hand axe, and I'm going to go up through the pathway back up to the Jeep.
You think she went back up to the Jeep? I mean, she was clearly wanting to grab something from the Jeep last night.
I'm gonna call her name actually first at the campsite, and then I'm gonna go.
Okay, so you're shouting her name at the campsite there?
Yeah.
So you shout for her, Meredith, but you don't hear a response.
Then we'll proceed up to the Jeep.
So you get back up to the Jeep, and just as you peek over the hill, your heart drops. You notice something really, really wrong. The Jeep is flipped over and shoved into the ditch with a tree log through the passenger's window and the driver's rear window.
Shit.
Are you gonna call Meredith again?
Yeah, I'm gonna shout her name, bellow it this time.
Okay. And then what? No response from that name call.
No response. Okay. I'm going to look around at tracks. Are there any footprints that she has left around here?
There's a big mess circling the Jeep. It looks like footprints of all kinds just shuffled around, but nothing too clear. You do notice that along the road back, there's a bunch of trees that are snapped and bent, pointing towards the way back home.
Is there anything left inside the Jeep?
It looks like it's been rifled through. All the little things, the junk that was in there before, trashed, thrown about, damaged.
Do I have my cell phone on my person right now?
You do.
I'm going to turn it on and just see if I get a reception check.
Why don't you try rolling me? You know what, just for the pure hope of it, why don't you roll me Arcana? This is your magical knowledge. Maybe you can figure out how getting a bar on a cell phone works.
That is a 5 + 1.
Yeah, no, you try to like hold it up a little bit and there's no bars. Your heart sinks deeper into your gut and you get the distinct feeling that Meredith is gone. This has been our very first episode of Haunt of the Grassman. You can find more episodes over on our Patreon, and maybe over time, if we make enough of these, we'll start trickling some future episodes into the main feed as well for the public. Taylor, do you have any plugs you want to shout out?
I just want to say major plugs to you, Reuben, for constructing this, because I know hopefully this has been good so far. It's been definitely it's a learning curve. I'm not a frequent D&D player, but you've been doing a great job DMing, and you've created an amazingly captivating story. And this is just the start, and I'm super excited to keep going and see where this leads. But as far as actual plugs go, you can find us on our website, CryptidClues.ca, social media channels, and then you shouted out that Patreon where you can get these episodes for this new series and a bunch of other early ad-free content.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptid Clues, Haunt of the Grassman. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.